despite the very clear warning and the ultimatum, the line in the sand that was drawn by the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, many people, thousands of them, have come out today in defiance of that statement and that call to get off the streets. So that is a red line in Iran that has been crossed, because up until now, protest in Iran over the last 30 years has stopped short of defying or openly criticizing the supreme leader. And some of those videos that are coming out, you can clearly hear people shouting against the leader as well as shouting against the election results and the things that they've been saying over the past several days. So there has been a change in the tone and in the defiance level of the people as they've come out.
The events have been historic and they have been captivating with so much at stake. Let's bring you now up to date on how it all started. 8 days ago, less than 2 hours after the polls closed, Iran's Interior Ministry announced President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad led the vote count, but opponent Mir Hossein Mousavi claimed he had won. The following day, Mr. Ahmadinejad was officially declared the winner by a landslide. The Mousavi camp accused Iran's establishment of manipulating the vote. That night, tens of thousands of his supporters took to the streets chanting, "Where is my vote?" On Sunday, protests continued and in some cases turned violent. Iran's government claims 7 protesters were killed. Others in Iran claim as many as 32 died. On Monday, Mousavi appeared at a huge election rally, and Iran's Guardian Council said it would investigate the election results. On Tuesday, the council agreed to recount some of the ballots, but ruled out annulling the election for a revote. Thousands of Mousavi supporters marched on Wednesday and again on Thursday, many wearing black and carrying candles to mourn those killed in the protests. Iran's supreme leader gave the sermon during Friday's prayers. Ayatollah Khamenei shrugged off charges of vote rigging and declared the election a, quote, definitive victory for President Ahmadinejad. Social networking sites are playing a huge and critical role in understanding what is going on in Tehran. They're even being used by opposition leaders. A message posted on Mir Hossein Mousavi's Facebook page says that he is ready, quote, for martyrdom. It also urged his supporters to protest and not to go to work. The authenticity of the message, however, cannot be verified at this time. Despite the online posting, it is unclear at this moment where Mousavi is. The last time that we know for sure that he was seen in public was on Thursday. There we see him. Mousavi addressed a rally that drew hundreds of thousands in Tehran. Mousavi served as Prime Minister of Iran from 1980 to 1988 under then President Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, now Iran's supreme leader. Mousavi is seen as a reformist and has said that he favors free speech. But he's also said that he would continue Iran's nuclear program. While he hasn't held a government post for 20 years, he's remembered by many Iranians for his handling of the economy during the 8-year war with Iraq in the 1980s. Mousavi was born in 1941. He's also an architect and a painter, and his wife is a respected and popular political science professor. Well, for some further perspective now on what's happening in Iran right now, we are joined by Karim Sarajatpour. He is an associate at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace and is frequently called upon to brief U.S. and EU officials about Middle Eastern affairs. Thank you very much for joining us. What is going through your mind now as you're thinking of what possibly could be the next step in Iran as we watch this video and escalation obvious from what we're able to see from amateur video, even live gunshots that we have heard and seen people seriously injured?
Well, first of all, the imagery is absolutely harrowing. The footage that's coming out on YouTube from people's cell phones is really ominous. Photos and videos of innocent bystanders getting beaten up, young women being batoned, teenage girls. There was an image of a teenage girl being shot today, and all of this in the name of religion. So it's true that the Iranian regime has a monopoly over coercion, and they're flexing their muscles right now. But I can only imagine that they're losing legitimacy by the day with the Iranian people.
And indeed, in that vein, we have been hearing for the first time that some of the protesters are chanting death to Ayatollah Khamenei. This appears to be something unprecedented in the 30 years since the Iranian Revolution.
It truly is unprecedented that people are beginning to question the legitimacy of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and beginning to question the institution of Supreme Leader itself. And I think this was really a miscalculation on Khamenei's part. I think he got really too powerful and too greedy. And this selection of President Ahmadinejad, I think, was the final insult for many people. But this sense of discontent has been brewing for many years. Economic discontent, social discontent, political discontent. And again, I think that the results of this election or this selection was the final insult for many Iranians.
Do you think that both the establishment, the Ayatollah and the people around him, and Mousavi himself, who's been called the accidental reformer, were really caught up by surprise by the genie they let out of that bottle?
Absolutely. I really think that obviously they didn't anticipate this type of a popular reaction. And we oftentimes forget that Iran is a very young population, 2/3 under 33. And in 2009, it's difficult to keep these young populations in the dark. It's much different than 1970s Iran. We're in the age of internet and satellite television and Twitter and Facebook. And Iranians see what's happening elsewhere in the world, and they want that same type of life.
Do you see a way out of this?
Well, it's going to depend on several things. You know, first, there's a symbiotic relationship between Mousavi and the crowd. I think the scale of the crowds have given Mousavi the political capital to remain defiant, and his defiance, I think, has energized the crowds. If one of those two things in the equation changes, we may see the crowds start to subside. And the leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, will also have to make some difficult decisions for himself, whether to concede ground and risk projecting weakness, or whether to continue with his current position, which is essentially unequivocal and obviously has generated tremendous unrest today.
Karim Sarajatpour with the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, thank you very much for speaking with us. I'd like to show you now some video, just this video that we received moments ago, the latest video we've been able to receive. You see there a man with bloodied head, obviously injured, from the streets of Tehran. We're not able to tell you exactly where it is coming to us from, but this is the latest we're able to see. You see this man who appears to have been injured by a baton, appears to be baton marks. We see obviously this woman seriously injured. She's wearing green, which is the color of reformist leader Mousavi. So this man also in pain, obviously in excruciating pain. You see a cross-section of society, men and women, and young people. You see the multitude of people who have joined the protest. We are hearing that there are less numbers today at the protest because of restrictions, and also a very stern warning by Ayatollah Khamenei on Friday. We see again people trying to help each other, those who have been injured during the protests. We continue to monitor the developments and bring you the latest that we can get out of Iran, to be able to figure out and bring you a sense of what is happening there, despite all the restrictions on the media. We'll take a short break, back with more of our coverage of the developing story out of Iran and its disputed election and protests.